everybody, welcome back to the shop. We're finally down here, and if this is your first time following us, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun. Behind me is our 72 Challenger. It still needs some help, but we have been making some progress. If you've watched the videos over the winter, we've gotten our rear quarter panel on the driver's side replaced, and what else we do? I forgot. But we're back down here hopefully now for the duration of the season. It's middle of April for me now, and weather's still a little cold, so we can't get to painting yet, but hold on. In the stack of boxes, we've got an inflatable paint booth. I have yet to set it up. I've got a few reasons for that we'll hopefully get into later on. But we've brought down the rest of our tools. We've got our toolbox here with all of our metalworking tools. We have a white one, a red one, and a blue one. Can you kind of figure the theme out here? So we've kind of gotten all of our tools back down here for the summer, with the exception of our actual paint supplies, the paints and materials like that. Got our welder. Everything else is down here now, and I'm gonna move the camera because I'm sure a wall is better to look at than me, but here I am. So we've got the Challenger. I've started to put the front end back together. I want to get the hood stripped and prepped in primer, and just depending on how the weather goes, I need to drag this thing out, get the engine bay cleaned off, stripped out, and I wanted to originally pull the K-member off, K-frame off, and do that separately, but I think it's going to be easier for me just to pull it out on 4 wheels, sandblast the engine bay, and then once I get the K-member off, then I can go and touch up the areas where it was sitting, attached to the body, get those areas cleaned off and prepped for primer and paint as well. And then I can go at the K-frame once this thing is primed. Metalwork, there's still some to do. I'm just sort of slowly picking away at what I can do right now. There's some touching up to do here. On our A-pillars, the sail panel, I have the driver's side lead work already completed. Passenger side, we're gonna get into that in just a minute here. So let me just stop yapping and we'll start working. We're on the sail panel on the passenger side. You can see with my finger marks in the dust from a previous take that I didn't use. We're going to remove all of our E-coat and primer to these lines because when you're putting on your lead, it does not stick to primer or paint or anything like that. So you need to be sure you're working with the bare metal. So once we have this stripped back, you can use your strip disc, your flap disc, whatever you have in your arsenal to take this material off. We're going to go ahead and tin it with the kind of the flux soldery paste stuff that goes on here, kind of like what you're doing with plumbing. But once that is done, we'll go ahead and neutralize and clean the area off with a mixture of pretty stiff baking soda and water mixture to get all the acidic stuff off the surface. Then we'll go ahead and heat the area up and our lead sticks with the MAP gas torch. You can also use a acetylene torch if you have one. I don't, so I'm using what I have. And we'll go ahead and blop all of our metal in here and work it through with a kind of a wooden spatula spoon I'll show you here in a bit, and just sort of work it smooth. So let's just stop me talking and get to work. So we've got this area all cleaned off now, and what I'm gonna do next, like I said, grab my tinning butter over there, slather some of that stuff on here, heat the area up. We clean it off with our water and baking soda combination, and then we can start applying our lead substitute. Now, the original lead stuff, that was bad. We know that. You can still buy it. I believe I chose the lead-free option from Eastwood. There's a whole kit, a couple of different versions you can get. That's what I went with. I assume it's pretty much lead-free solder, like plumbing stuff. But it seemed to be the little better option for me because I didn't want to die. So let me find, over here is our tinning butter, my torch. Yeah. Now, for those of you wondering, ventilation, I'm in a giant shop which currently has about as many holes as Swiss cheese has in it. And I've got a fan that'll be running behind me, blowing the air away from me. So when I get to the leading process, any of the fumes are going that way. And if I had a respirator on, you couldn't hear me, which I'm sure some of you would appreciate. But that's what I'm going to be doing. If you look at the videos on Eastwood's YouTube channel featuring Gene Winfield, he does the same thing, just has the fan behind him blowing all the fumes away from the workspace. But not close enough where you're cooling off the metal. We're just trying to get airflow moving away from our workspace. So let's just get to it. Here's our goo, like I said, the pure tin flux solder stuff. Go ahead and heat our area up. Keep the area hot, and you'll see it'll start to kind of shine and glisten. And once it turns that silvery color, you know that the goo has done its thing. Alrighty, and like I said, while this area is still hot, I've got a rag and my water and baking soda mixture off camera. Of course, my stuff is settled a little bit, so we'll stir it back up here. There we go. You can toss that. Cover this up, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour this over the top here. Make a big old mess on my floor, but you can see as I'm washing it away, all that dark material is washing away, leaving me with my nice tin surface here. So we'll just wash it off a little more, get our nice clean surface. And I may need to do a little more down here for prep work. It didn't seem to take as good as I thought it would, but again, we're pretty smooth down here. Just kind of, we're filling in this 3/4 inch wide strip as what we're trying to fill in. So the rest of it we will file down, sand, and of course, like I said, hit with that glaze. So I'm gonna grab some of my sticks and we'll get to it. All right, well, I've got a new pile of sticks here. We've got our paddle and we've got our paddle butter or soldering paddle lube. Because you know what they say about lube. It's good to have. So what we're gonna do is heat the area up, put in our filler rod here. I've got some small pieces I want to try and save as well. So I gotta find a plier so I don't burn my glove covered hands off. But once that is laid on there, we're gonna come back, heat it up, and use our paddle, which I've kind of burned, and we pretty much try and heat it up again and spread it out like cake batter. And that's the best way Gino Enfield explained it, is just, it's like spreading cake batter. And personally, I like cake and cake batter, so this is really great. Let's just find me pliers and we'll get spreading. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, stick a little bit of this butter on my paddle. We're gonna end up getting it warm and fill in any of the little holes or imperfections and the burn marks in this thing, because you're using this to spread that lead, and if there's spots that are just bare wood, whatever, charcoal, it's gonna stick and drag. So you wanna have this being as smooth as possible and filling all those little pinholes and imperfections in. Not a big deal, just heat it up quick. Just like that. And smooth it out on whatever you've got. And you'll be good. You can redo that as needed. But for now, got my pliers, grab some of my little sticks over here. And trying to make the best of these. There's not much left, but better than throwing them away. Okay, well, it is not perfect, and now we can see why my wife is the cake maker around here and all of her expert cake skills. Certainly, I enjoy eating the batter more than I enjoy spreading it on by how this looks. But that leaves us the ability to sand it down. If you want to use a file, there's one over here. I started using it and really only worked up here. Once I got down here, there were too many contours, and I started to dig into this this body line here, and ended up just using my flap disc to get this area smoothed out. And while it did have a little bit of a concave section in it, that's fine, because like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and skim this with glaze, and we're just taking care of getting it sealed out, moisture, everything, because again, the vinyl top. That's kind of was the demise the first time around for this roof, you know, since it was slashed and cut up. And anyways, different story. So we're going to go ahead and just sand this down quick, and we'll come back what it looks like at the end result before we can go ahead and get it painted. We've gone ahead and done kind of a rough sanding on it. It is knocked down. It is pretty smooth. There is still a little bit of a valley in here. I may come back and add another row of filler too, and a rod, and trying to work that in a little bit more. But let's go over and show you the driver's side that I did last week. I don't know if it's a difference of really old metal, really new metal, or now it's currently like 50 degrees in here, and when I was down here a few days ago, it was almost 80. So I'm sure that's got something to do with it, but let's go over to the driver's side and show you that. Alrighty, here's the driver's side. It looks a lot better. Pretty smooth all through here. What I do need to do is get this into epoxy primer quickly so we don't rust. So yeah, that does need to get into epoxy primer quickly. If we get a little bit of surface nasties, I can go ahead and scuff that off, no big deal. But again, the weather has not been terribly favorable. Again, it's middle of April for me right now, but better weather is coming. That's what I can hope for, right? But it's just not sensible to drag this thing up to the garage every day, every weekend. Sooner or later, something's gonna get damaged and that's no good. So we do the best we can with what we've got, right? Anyways, for those of you who said, oh, you really don't have a fan that you're clearing all these fumes out with, take a look over here. Camera pan. There we go, there's our fan, right there. So, we're at least trying to do things right. Otherwise, you can see behind me, I've got most of the shop tools down here. We've got the paint booth. All we need is a floor. That'd be great, because I don't want to work on the floor anymore. Anyways, hope you've liked this. This is just a short little bit. We're trying to make progress here, keep moving forward the best we can. And I think I'm gonna have to tackle into this dashboard behind me, get the old dash out. I have a new dash cap up in the garage, and get everything out of there, covered, so I can go ahead and scuff and prime the interior area inside of the roof. And hopefully in that time frame, I'm gonna be able to sandblast the engine bay. I'd like to do all this priming in one shot, so I'm not mixing up little batches and here and there and cleaning guns and wasting material. So that's kind of the goal for the next video. Before that, I do have to go through, I've got some more metal work to do. There's a few spot welds on the bottom of this quarter panel to finish putting in. A couple of these plug welds up on the window, front and rear window from the roof replacement. Those need to get ground down and prepped. So there's a lot of stuff I'm gonna be doing off camera to get us ready for the next video, which should hopefully be the stripping and priming of the engine bay and everything else as we get ready. I mean, we're really close in the grand scheme of things to being able to paint this. Sure, there's a lot of work left to do, but compared to where we were a couple of years ago, we're making progress. Of course, a shop where you can work all year long and don't have a day job, you could have done a lot faster, but that also comes with a price tag. So anyways, hope you like this video. Stay tuned for the next one, and thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.